Thank you for listening. A list of content warnings can be found in the episode description. Take care. Enjoy the show. Planescape Torment, the Unofficial audio series. A narrative let's play adapted and produced by RevocerGM. Combining in-game audio with additional voice acting through dialogue and descriptions to improve your listening experience. Rediscover the amazing story of the 1999 cult classic isometric video game, Planescape Torment, like you've never heard before.
Wow.
Oh, Chief, you wait till we get inside.
Sparkling fountains of glassy water shoot out along a wide promenade, misting you with a smell of bright citrus and sweet spiced fruit. Animated topiary, beautifully carved statues, and some fabulous displays of magical art flank your passage towards this great structure, the Civic Festhall, a true wonder of the multiverse. Rising up into the haze of Sigil, this feat of mortal ingenuity blooms petal-like, radiating a prismatic light that banishes the gloom of the city about you. Glorious music, voices of delight, and the laughter of the many interplanar beings congregated here makes for a dazzling wholeness of experience that hums with a vibrancy beyond physical sensation. As you pass under the main archway, whose intrados even overwhelms you with awe, painted to resemble a canopy of autumnal trees struck by shafts of golden sunlight, you hear a small, high-pitched voice that pulls you abruptly back into reality.
Sir?
And see a small, neatly dressed boy.
Sir, might I have a word with you?
The slender young man approaches you, a somewhat nervous expression upon his face.
1,000 pardons, sir, but I'm looking for a certain man, and I think you might be able to help me.
Oh? How so?
Well, I'm a messenger, sir, who seeks a man it said cannot die. A scarred man for whom death is nothing but the most trivial of annoyances. You match the admittedly vague description I was given, sir, and I had wondered if you were he.
How old are you?
I don't see how that bears any relevance to what I just asked, sir. Are you the man I seek?
Yeah. I am the man you're looking for.
A message for you then, sir. Mistress Jolmy of the House Searmer, a lady of high standing, has sent me. Mistress Jolmy would meet you within the Civic Festhall, where she would make a proposal, of which I know nothing to you. That is the extent of my message, sir. Farewell.
Wait, what does she look like? Inside, the arboreal theme of the entrance continues, with golden boughs branching out to a ceiling resplendent with gilded leaves and hung with sparkling chandeliers of crystalline fruit. This place is breathtaking. Hundreds, if not thousands of sensates, musicians, adventurers, and pilgrims from across the Great Wheel stream in and out with looks on their faces that range from ecstatic joy to the deep contemplation of ideological turmoil. All can be seen walking amongst this crowd, some in fine gowns, others in brutal war gear, any who seek the sensations of the plains with a breadth of choice beyond imagination. Towering above all those around him, a glittering giant of a man stands on a dais near the entrance. His skin is sparkling under the lights, and his dazzling smile beaming to all passers-by, whom he greets with bountiful delight.
Welcome to the Civic Festhall, traveler. We are Splinter, doorman to the Festhall and priest king of Ur. Please enjoy the wonders in this palace of knowledge, experience, and sensation. I am here at your service should you need guidance.
Thank you. I'll be sure to ask.
Good to be back again.
Martin the Headless rocks slightly in his steel box under your arm.
Yeah, so what is it that we're looking for?
Oh, what, my body? Oh, well, it shouldn't be too hard to find. I'm normally just ambling around, you know, lumber here, lumber there. I'm not a sensate, mind you, but I do like to watch all the different sorts of people milling about, so I usually stay here by the entrance.
Right. Well, what can you tell me about this place?
Oh, the Festhall? You don't know about it? Well, it's the faction quarters of the sensates, and perhaps more importantly, it holds their sensorians.
Sensorians?
Yeah, you know, the Society of Sensation. They race around trying to experience everything, collecting the various feelings and sensations they find, and then record them into stones. The doorman can explain it a bit better, I'm sure. Oh, there it is. That's my body.
You see a figure stumbling about, their motion jolting and erratic.
I'd say there, old chum. Over here.
The figure lurches about at Martin's voice and begins to approach, awkwardly bumping into all manner of sculptures and people on its way. It wears a neat silk jerkin with a fine dueling cape pinned at the breast, and upon its shoulders is a skillfully carved wooden prosthesis. It tilts its replacement head down towards the box in your hand before reaching out and taking it from you.
Oh, much better.
The body hugs the steel box tightly.
Yes, I missed you too.
The body tucks the case under its arm and bows to you.
Thank you, good sir. I imagine my body here was getting a bit restless without me.
No problem.
And to that matter, you certainly deserve some sort of reward for your trouble. Let's see what I've got now.
The body fumbles about in its pockets and presents you with several handfuls of silver coin.
Not much, I'm afraid.
That's all right. Farewell, Martin.
Farewell, Cutter. Enjoy the Festhall.
Looking around, it is quite overwhelming, and you're not entirely sure which specific thing you're supposed to enjoy first. This grand atrium opens into multiple theaters and galleries, and spiraling staircases climb above to an array of tiered platforms decorated with hanging gardens. The large doorman seems to sense your uncertainty and pivots upon his podium, giving you a gracious bow. He calls out to you, his voice resonating across the space effortlessly, as though he were just a few feet away.
Is it aid you need, traveler? Please, I am here to oblige.
How can you help me?
We can do many things in this fine hall, traveler. We can answer questions a guest might have regarding this place or its inhabitants. We can guide members and visitors alike to the sensoriums, or perhaps recommend one of the lecture halls. What is it that you wish to experience?
What lectures are there to attend?
The Festhall's current speakers include Death's Advocate, who speaks of the end of life and what is beyond. Three Planes Aligned, who speaks of the balance of belief and ideology within the Great Wheel. And Gisis the Crooked, who speaks of his experiences in the Blood War.
Gisis the Crooked. Where is this lecture held?
In the Yellowwood Theater. You can find it down the leftmost passage at the end. It does not start for a number of hours, though. Perhaps you might enjoy one of the deprivation chambers while you wait. There is nothing better for a busied mind.
Thanks. There was actually someone I was looking for.
Who was it you were seeking, traveler?
Mistress Jolmy of the House Sirma. It turns out this Mistress Jolmy had secured a private meeting room within the faction halls and has been eagerly awaiting your arrival. A few masked attendants stand either side of her, wearing strange papery overalls, as she sits poised behind a large conference desk that has also been spread with large sheets of paper. She herself is dressed in fine silks, but her face is veiled such that it hides all above her dark painted lips. Apparently, she desires the opportunity to experience taking the life of another and has heard rumor of your unique condition.
So, are you open to discussion on the matter?
But why?
But why not? I thought it might be an interesting experience, paying someone for the privilege of murdering them. When I first heard rumors of your existence, how could I resist? So, what is your answer? Shall we discuss the matter in greater detail?
Oh, one moment. Where did you hear these rumors?
One hears all sorts of things in the Festhall. How could one not eventually hear of a man like you? Again, I ask, will you consider my proposal?
Yes. Let's work out the details. The whole affair is over in moments. After a short discussion, she agrees to your price, and in exchange is permitted to drive a dagger into your heart. By the time you've recovered, she's already cleaned her blade, and her attendants have rolled up the blood-stained sheets. She hands you a few rolls of both gold and platinum coins.
Somewhat disappointing, I must admit. Ah well, coin well spent nonetheless. Farewell.
Yeah, farewell. You kill the next few hours, wandering down the corridors that link between the various rehearsal rooms, studios, and many small social areas spread throughout the Festhall. There is no shortage of diorama displays or artworks to admire, and there's a whole hallway filled with scratch-and-sniff statuary, modeled after the various life forms found on one of the prime material planes. You even find what you'd thought was a living statue, but turned out to be an earth genasi meditating upon the Way of Stone. Awkwardly, this wasn't made apparent until you'd given sway to one of your more intrusive thoughts and struck the statue's lifelike visage. He was gracious enough to accept your apology, and even gave you some pointers in improving your form. Eventually, though, you shuffle into the low-lit Eloeth Theatre, a modest auditorium that encloses intimately around a thrust stage in the center. A low table with a jug and glass of water is set, pulled beneath a harsh spotlight. The audience hushes in anticipation as a squat, hunched man is wheeled onto the stage, blinking into the light above.
Thank you. Afternoon.
There is a long, strained pause as the man scratches at a ragged scar beneath his collar, before he eventually releases a sigh and drops the tension in his broad shoulders.
Right. Now, listen up. This seminar on the war. If you're here to listen about the Blood War, take root. If you're not, you're in the wrong hall, and you'd best hump your soft, comfort-loving Sigillian limbus thumbs out of here.
Oh, the Blood War. More boring than listening to a governor recite laws. Let's find some young sensates who need to be indoctrinated in the ways of passion. No, Mort, I want to hear this.
And further, if you're Tanari or Beatsu, hump your scaly hides out the door. He's not letting your ornery bastards bend an ear to this and then listen to your barmy arguments. Because this is no discussion on who's right. It just tells the Blood War from the human point of view. I's not promoting one side or another, because they both stink in different ways.
Behind you, you hear the clunk of something large leaving the theater.
So, what's left here are wanting to listen to some Blood War stories, tales about the war. Here to hear the horror of it all, no doubt. The floating fortresses wove and weaved a human skin. The plains, wide battlegrounds, the Blood War be fought on.
He bares his yellowed teeth.
Tales of fiends locking fangs with other fiends. Well, let me peel back your lids and crack your bone boxes. 'Tis all a steaming heap of barmy nonsense to be dwelling on that forged dung.
He spits in derision, rolling his eyes wildly.
I'll tell you this, though. You can't imagine the scale the Blood War is fought on. Nothing you've seen heard, or participated in. Nothing compares. Time, numbers of legions, sheer bloodshed. Nothing compares, Bergs. To try and imagine it, forget it. My advice? Simple. Stay away from the big bloody mess altogether. The only thing he needs to know is this. Fiends are killing fiends. Beitsu was slaughtering Tanari. Tanari are butchering Beitsu. Right now.
He spits again.
Neither's winning. I don't think either can. Biggest stalemate this side of eternity. Thank the powers. That's it.
He shrugs.
That's it. I'll be answering any questions you got for me now.
What started the Blood War?
You got a right to be curious. What started this big old sodden soupy mess in the first place? What set the fiends to locking horns in the first place? Biting and clawing at each other until that was the only reason they were alive. Simple. They met. Tanari and Beitsu crossed each other one day, and like two drunken bigots, they set to fighting. That's simple.
Gises frowns.
No, well, no. Not like that. Imagine two drunken priests who believe each knows the only way to live. Now, make those priests ripped with scales and fangs and horns and a cruel streak 7 leagues wide and put them in an itty-bitty sodden cell. And then you have a good idea of the love that can spring forth. And there you have it. The origin of the Blood War.
Why are two evil races fighting?
One believes evil should be nice and orderly. One believes evil should be chaos, running, rampant across the plains. Both evil, but doesn't mean they can agree on anything. Bad blood, bad blood. Each wants to exterminate the other so bad that only their brand of evil remains. They hate each other like...
He wrings his rough, calloused hands together, searching for the right words.
Well, you see, they don't hate like we hate. We don't even know what hate is. We have one word for hate. They have thousands upon thousands. Their meanings twisted and piled like bodies. That's why they fight.
What do you think would happen if someone stopped the Blood War?
You can't make any biting difference in the war. It's too sodden big. You're a stone, a pebble in an ocean that's a pebble in another ocean, which is a pebble in another ocean, and so on and so forth till the stench nose come home. As a pebble, your goal is to be not noticed and sink to the bottom with the rest of the dregs. If you could make a difference, which you can't, you shouldn't try, because then the planes would tumble on down.
The planes would tumble down. Why?
He holds up his hands like pillars.
The war's like a big bloody support beam propping up the planes. You kick it down, and a lot of the planes would come tumbling down with it. A lot of baggage rests on the back of the war. The biggest, nastiest pack animal on the plains.
He grins cynically.
Besides, as some say, war's great for business.
He then suddenly looks as if he might cry.
Yeah. Never you mind that. Another question.
Are you all right? You seem pained.
Aye. Listen, Cutter. I'm no priest, nor would I want to be one. But hear this. Keep evil out of your heart. When you die with evil in your heart, your spirit falls into the lower planes, where you become a petitioner. Any guesses what happens then? Petitioners in the Abyss and Beator get twisted into foot soldiers and get to fight in the blood war for all eternity.
He chuckles, shaking his head. How does one get hired into the Blood War?
You know, every once in a while, some leatherhead Burke comes around asking about a job in the Blood War. They want some chink. They want a quick stint. And then to get along with their lives. Mayhap I was one of those leatherheads. Mayhap I was a sellsword. And heard there was a little chink to be made in the war. Got me interested. It taught me a lesson, it did. We're like ants, running around the heels of dancing sodpike gods. I saw big men who claimed to be big soldiers. Paper soldiers. War's a furnace for them. Makes them wake up or burn.
So, how do you survive the Blood War? He tilts his head down, the spotlight casting deep shadows over his face.
Well, that's the one thing I won't speak of. Suffice to say, a man does what he has to do to escape the war.
Let me ask you about something else then.
What's your question, Cutter?
Where is the Blood War fought?
Plenty of places. Usually the lower plains. Anywhere along the River of Styx. The 9 layers of Beator, the 4 furnaces of Gehenna, the Grey Waste, cold red Carceri, the prison plain, and the piking near endless well of evil that's the Abyss.
Can you tell us about the Grey Waste?
Aye. It's also called the Glooms.
He shrugs, and then shivers as if by reflex.
Grey, in every sense of the word. Colors burn your eyes there. They shout, are too loud, and your dreams are pulled to the surface and poured in the ground, lost forever. Only the night hags rule there, the Grey Ladies of the Waste.
What sort of forces serve in the Blood War?
All sorts. Aside from various mortal Burks from across the plains, Abishai, and Cornagons, Lemurs, and Nuparibo, Succubi, the list goes on and on.
Succubi? Well, doesn't sound too bad.
Aye. Succubus are lovely on the eyes. Quite different to the other fiends snarling and chomping. And just as you feel on the brink of madness, no hope left, nothing to cling to under the bleeding sky, such a lovely creature appears, offering you a moment of respite, a brief nicety, your limbs shaking with exhaustion, your heart heavy with all you've seen. What more could you want? What more than a lovely, warm body to comfort you? They open their arms to you, not minding the stink and the blood in your breath. Aye. Lovely. But dead evil. A bird gives in to a moment in one's embrace, and they drag him off into the abyss, their soul howling from their lungs. More petitioners, more fodder for the war.
Can you tell us anything about the Tenari?
The chaos, the ones with whim and whimsy in their hearts. Trust or upholding their word. Aren't I on their list? Now, the Tenari pay better than the Beitsu. But you need to be 2 or 3-faced and have a bunch of eyes sprinkled all over your body, because you can't ever turn your back on them. They don't care what happens, so long as something happens, and 'tis evil. Mostly they attack the Beitsu to keep from killing each other.
And the Beitsu?
Well, they don't usually pay as much as the Tenari, but they don't break their written word. They're smart, though. Several hundredfold smarter. And they've been making contracts since time began. They plan like bastards. They put more thought and preparation into a single strategic skirmish than most human armies devote to an entire campaign. They usually assemble their forces on Avernus, the first layer of Beator.
What's Avernus like?
Avernus? 'Tis inhabited by the damned, and those that prey on the damned. The red-flecked lands of noxious sands and blistering fires that scream across the landscape. That was my taste of Beator, the lair of Avernus. Terrible place.
So, you'll tell us no tales of the Blood War?
All right. One. Let me give you an example of what meat means to them. They'll get some mean-spirited mortal mercenaries together, maybe a drop of a few million strong, and let them slaughter each other for no real reason, none at all. A pointless battle over some power's forsaken piece of land. Guess where all those souls go?
Where?
Their souls sink into the plains of evil they fought on, where they can be ripped from the soup of the plain and set to fight again as lemures or manes or wherever the biting sod those fiendish little dung heaps become. The more those sodden petitioners they get, the more troops they have.
How would one, hypothetically, survive the Blood War?
You want to know how to survive the Blood War? 3 things, Cutter.
He holds up a maimed hand with only 2 fingers remaining upon it.
First off, you stay the pike out of it. Secondly, keep yourself the pike and nails out of it. And lastly, you stay the bloody pike and sod pike out of it. If any part of the war rolls your way, let your imagination give your bum a kick and run as far and as fast as you can. If you can't run, then lies really still and pray it passes you by.
He pauses for a moment.
Except there's no place it don't touch, and there's almost nowheres you can run to get away from it.
If there's nowhere to run, why aren't there fiends fighting in Sigil?
Oh, no, Kota. Look, they have fought here. A few times. Sometimes, we get a little spillover from the Blood War. Our Lady of Pain, bless her steel-ridden heart, puts out the fires. Some of the time. There's been times, some horrifying, drizzle on yourself, you're so sudden scared times, when they've smashed and burnt and clawed their way through whole sodden city blocks in Sigil before she decides to clean house.
Why don't the fiends just take Sigil?
And don't get me wrong now. Both the Tenari and the Beitsu want Sigil fears. 'Tis the most precious staging ground in the Paigan multiverse. The cage is the city of doors and connects everywhere. You can't ignore it, and if you're serving in the Blood War and want to win, you gotta have it. 'Tis just the fiends aren't going to get it. Well, the lady's in charge. 'Tis all. She's tough as nails. Her blades will cut you deeper than any fiend's fang, and that knots the fiend's stems like you wouldn't believe. One quiet lady, her hands tucked in her sleeves, holding back the blood war all by herself.
But fiends are still allowed in Sigil.
Oh, damnably certain. They can't brawl in the streets too much. So, as neutral ground, Sigil allows them to rattle their bone boxes without trying to murder each other. Sometimes they chat it up with each other here. The beasts don't stay that way for long, though. They fight battles with lies and words, Burke. Sometimes 'tis all in the bluster and blather. And there's safe houses about, too. Places where they can cool their talons before the next skirmish. And they like to recruit here. Looking for boys fresh off the plains with a little greed in their hearts that they can make part of their glorious army.
He stops speaking to peer closely at you.
Mayhap they recruited you once, eh, Cutter? You look like you've tasted the war.
Perhaps.
When the war leaves a scar on you, Cutter, you'd know. And you'd know you'd never want to go back.
Your temples begin to throb as you consider the man's words, and a painful memory begins to surface. The lecture hall begins to fade from view as terrible visions begin to seep up from the depths of your mind. Visions of a place where seasons are like nothing you've ever felt or heard or tried to shut out. A place where prayers go unheard, falling like stones to the earth. Vein-colored lightning flashes across things that were once sky, but now boil beneath your feet and scream when you brush against them. You run at the head of a large band of men, passing through dark canyons where the walls quiver moistly and beat like a heart, wearing only your blood as clothing. At last, you stand in a place where the ashen grey terrain slithers like a mass of snakes, coiling around your ankles and whispering your evil to the earth. You march endlessly, silently through this colourless land, where fatigue seems to live and hunt you like a shade over the wastes, whipping you with despair. In time, you and the ragged men who follow you come upon a hag sitting upon a mound of gigantic, writhing larvae, poking at one of the slime-covered things with a broken talon. You indicate for one of the men to run forward and speak with her. The hag's grating voice carries to your ears.
I would speak with him,
She said, then cackled. Her eyes gleam as she points you out to the man.
the handsome one that leads your ragged column. I would speak with him.
And that is all you can recall.
Cutter, you feeling all right there?
Yes. I'm fine. So do the fiends recruit often?
Oh, you can be sure of that. Sigil's the best source of fodder in the plains. Beats milking planets or all their prime inhabitants. Too much work.
So, any more advice on surviving the war?
Oi, don't go through any portal unless you're quite sure you know where it goes. Maybe you haven't heard tales of clueless planewalkers stepping through a portal and ending up smack dab in the middle of the Blood War skirmish. You know why you haven't heard of them? Because those swords are dead. Dead, dead, dead. And whatever you does, never sign on for a tour of duty. No matter how much jink they flash in your mug. Certain death and signing on for a tour in the Blood War are the same thing, Cutter. Even death wouldn't be a release, because they sink you, they sink into the lower planes and get dredged back up as something worse than you were before. And they got their talons on you for all eternity.
So, dying in the Blood War would be an especially bad thing?
If you were evil, sure. If you're good, you'd go to another plane to spend your afterlife, but you'd still be a debtor. Now for me, I still got a lot of evil to wash from me soul. So if I died in the lower planes, they would have had me lock, stock, and barrel.
You go to another plane when you die?
Oh, go talk to that other death lecturer if you want the dark on that. I can't explain it as well as he. Though he's twice the fool and might scold you with the hot air roaring from his mouth.
How would you get out of a tour contract?
Well, unless they don't want you, you don't have much chance. I never heard of it being done with mean-spirited recruits or someone they really wanted to keep their talons on. Outwitting a Tanaree is risky but can be done. But the Bayetsu are much more dangerous with their contracts. You sign one of those, you're damned for life. You might try a little garnish. Try and daub them, and they might let you make a run for it. But where would you go? There are so many hells.
So, again, how did you get out of the Blood War? The man's face darkens.
As I said, that's the one thing I won't speak of.
But it's just... A woman named Vrashika told me that you had to murder your own men to escape the war.
Watch your mouth, Cutter! That's a lie! A foul, foul lie! Are you barmy? Jorin with a fiend o' the war and believing her every word of it.
That's what she told me. I didn't say I took it as truth.
I'll tell you what happened, Burke. I was part of the company of the Blazing Effigy. A part of its original number was 53 mortal mercenaries. Though only 9 of us remained. Camped somewhere in Avernus we were, awaiting reinforcements for the next battle. Well, my torrid duty was nearly done then. In fact, I was to leave after that battle. The trouble was, had I died there, I would have been theirs forever. Too much blackness. Too much evil in my heart. I would have ended up a petitioner in Beator, an eternal soldier in the war.
He shudders at the thought. What happened?
Well, me and 2 other lads fled like dogs, that's what happened. We scurried across the plain for a handful of days before we came to this great pillar of living heads. An awful sight it was. They jabbered and hissed at us, calling for us to come closer. That night, I stole away from the others and went to talk to the pillar.
And Gises shuts his eyes and rubs at his temples.
I asked this pillar how I might be freed, how I might escape Beator. And it told me, in exchange for the 2 of my brothers. To me at the time, twas just math.
He nods.
Not sure I'll forgive myself. No, I'm just a soldier who's looking for a place to die, trying to erase the stain of evil. cleanse my inner geesis before I die, and return to the Blood War. I lecture here to keep people away from it all, to prevent them from ever having to make a choice like that. Right. This is the last bit, then. Some of you are sensates. So, I got one thing to say to you. Don't sign up to see what the Pikin Blood War is about. Don't be a barmy idiot. Use a sensory stone if you gots to know, but stay the hells away from anything to do with the Blood War for real. 'Tis just not worth it. 'Tis...
For a moment, a look of great pain crosses the man's face. It looks as if he is going to weep.
'Tis not worth it at all. That's the end of this session. So, farewell.
How good could it be, you think, regarding the burgundy liquid carefully? Across the table from you, the twisted old man smiles slyly.
Please, sir, try,
He whispers, his hushed voice the sound of dry leaves blown over a roughly cobbled street.
Thou shalt find it more than lives up to thy expectations, I am sure.
You nod at him and lift the crystal goblet into the air, watching the light play through the crimson liquor. You'd come a long way for this drink, searched long and hard for this old man, and you'll be damned to let anything rush you now. The moment was to be savored. You raise the glass to your lips, inhaling the stuff's aroma. The bouquet is light, sweet, intoxicating, almost dizzyingly so. You tried countless drinks, written tomes about them, their flavors and smells, means of manufacture in your journeys across the plains. But this stuff was supposed to be legendary. No living man you'd found or heard of had tried the stuff. The stories were ridiculous. Nothing could taste quite so good. But if there were the slightest bit of truth to them, this would be some fine liquor indeed. At last, you drink of the goblet, a cautious sip. Incredible. Indescribable. As the flavor washes over your palate, you fight the urge to shudder with delight. Nothing you have tried in all your long years has tasted quite like this. You look up at the old man, startled to find your glass empty. You had drained it all in a single draught. You wipe your eyes with the back of your hand, not entirely sure when you had begun to cry. Tears of joy, eh? The old man laughed softly.
Quite pleasing to the tongue, is it not? Wouldst thou like some more, perchance?
He smiles at you once more. Yes, if I might.
Surely,
he replies, refilling your glass. Try as you might, you cannot resist downing it in a single gulp. You thrust your finger into the goblet in an attempt to find some last hidden drop of the stuff. Several times more does he fill the goblet, and each time you gulp the stuff down, as a starving man would devour a feast, unable to control yourself, to deny yourself another exquisite taste of it. He chuckles softly once more.
A drink such as this? A man would do anything for it, no?
You nod, without hesitation. Yes, a man would. Looking at him, his sly smile suddenly takes on a whole new meaning. A sense of horror begins to creep over you, even as you begin to yearn painfully for more of the blood-red liquor. Yes, the old man grins, his yellow eyes gleaming.
A man would do anything in the thrall of such a drink. Even the most terrible, the most heinous of deeds, as thou shalt see, my newest servant.
What was it like?
That was incredible.
Yes, that is one of our more extravagant ones. Would you like to try another?
Not just yet. I'm actually looking for someone. Lady Thorncombe, the head mage's tutor.
She will doubtless be found here. Let me check which sensory stone she last visited. One moment. Oh, yes. Yeah, you will find her at Indescribable Frustration. 3 chambers counterclockwise from the stairwell. It is a reddish-orange color.
Thank you. Having asked Splinter, the doorman, if there was anywhere you could find information on the Night Hag, Ravel Puzzlewell, he suggested seeking the head mage tutor, Lady Thorncombe, who apparently spends much of her time here in the sensoriums, and you can begin to understand why. The thrill of stepping into a wholly unique experience aside, this place is a pleasure to behold. Verdant trellises enclose a peaceful foyer filled with the calming scents of mint and lavender, along with the gentle trickle of water fountains, all there to serve as a palate cleanser from the lusciously decorated chambers that are each themselves themed to provoke a particular sensory experience. And for a small fee, this whole place is yours to enjoy. Polite guides mill about, offering refreshments and recommendations to suit whichever sense you wish to indulge or explore, and there is no shortage of variety. From the brief rush of escaping a swift demise to the drawn-out pain of slow suffocation, you can experience here things that most mortals could not conceive of, and in your case, can accurately compare to your own slew of recalled sensation. Heading to the chamber your guide had indicated, you find a room filled with large terracotta urns, radiating a substantial amount of heat. The floor is covered with white sand, and there is the warm, slightly sulphurous smell of baked stone. In the center is a table with several fist-sized jewels held in ornate brass setting. Accompanying you within the space is a comely, middle-aged woman, absent-mindedly chewing on her thumbnail, while dreamily gazing at the stones before her. Her eyes seem focused on nothing in particular, and she is dressed in elegant yet disheveled finery, and her hair is slightly tousled.
Greetings.
She takes a thumb from her mouth, smoothing back a strand of hair that had fallen in front of her eyes.
Are you, by chance, Lady Thorncombe?
Her eyes widen momentarily, and she looks away from you.
Oh. No, I'm not, sir.
Who are you, then, if I may ask?
She smiles nervously.
No one of consequence, I assure you.
Might I have your name?
Oh, I'm, Adana.
Right. You're a terrible liar, you know.
She sneers.
And you're a horribly scarred ruin of a man. More a corpse given some sad semblance of life than anything else. Now go away.
All right, that's enough of this. I think we both know who you are, Lady Thorncombe.
And if I was this woman, what of it?
Well, I had heard you were the head mage tutor here in the Festhall. I had hoped I might speak with you.
I shall dash your hopes to pieces then. I no longer wish to teach magic. Now go, leave me in peace.
But why not?
As if it were any concern of yours.
She picks up the folds of her dress and scurries from this chamber to the next.
But wait. I seek to learn, and you can teach. I would know what I might do to convince you.
I doubt there's much you can offer me which I cannot find on my own. The sensory stones provide me with all things that wealth cannot.
The sensory stones?
Yes. Take this one, for example. Each stone has recorded within it one experience or another. This
She looks deep into your eyes.
is tender love.
She then takes your hands gently in hers and rests them over the turquoise gemstone on the table. And suddenly, the experience washes over you. Your eyes are closed. You can sense yourself standing on the tips of your toes, pressed against someone tightly. Soft lips brush against yours, giving you the most gentle of kisses. Your heart seems to flutter in your chest, and you feel as if you could fall backwards and simply float off into space.
It's beautiful, is it not?
It is, but...
Or try this one. Sheer wonder.
She drags you into another chamber and presses your palm to the stone, plunging you into the experience. Light scatters as the surface drifts away. Hesitantly, you open your mouth to take a shallow breath, and the water flows into your lungs like cool air. You smile and take a deep breath now, gawking in all directions as you slowly sink to the bottom of the harbor, where hundreds of colorful fish weave through the twisting tracts of brilliant coral. As your feet touch the bottom, you peer up at the keel of your ship and laugh aloud with joy, a stream of great bubbles shooting up towards the surface.
Or this.
Dancing and leaping in a rhythm with the Wood Elves' bouncing festival music, you and a dozen other dancers spin through the forest clearing like a whirling dervish, smiling and laughing like mad. As the cheering forest dwellers whoop, clap and dance alongside you, fairies careen through the air above your heads, leaving sparkling trails of colored light.
When I first came to these halls, I spent little time with them. Only now do I realize what I had been missing.
What had you been missing? She shakes her head, smiling. Her eyes take on a glassy sheen, and she holds herself tightly.
One could spend lifetimes here among the stones. Experience after wondrous experience. Mere words cannot express their magnificence. I can only suggest you stay here for a time and see for yourself, sir.
You sound addicted.
Nonsense! I could stop any time I wished. I merely choose to bask in their wonder. Why waste time teaching dawdling, ungrateful magelings when I could remain here among these precious stones, living 100 new lives each day?
She grasps another stone before her. You see her eyes roll back, and a look of agony racks her face. The stone beneath reads, "Unavoidable pain." She lets go with a cry and stumbles back, resting on one of the couches in the chamber.
Are you all right?
Yes. No, not all are pleasant. But isn't that also wonderful? We must experience all that life has to offer, no?
I don't think the stones are there for that. Shouldn't you seek sensations of your own to share?
What you think matters little to me. I ask you now to leave me. Truly.
All right.
Farewell.
Having made no progress with the Lady Thorncombe, you head to the Mage's quarter within the training wing itself, in the hopes of finding someone who might give you more information on Ravel. In contrast to the rest of the fest hall, this large gymnasium is quite sparse in its decoration. Split into sections marked by draped banners, you see tools and training equipment for all manner of exercise and competition. Several sparring squares are marked out on the ground, and rows of exercise dummies and practice targets line the walls. Observing the budding magicians is a tall, thin man, dressed in heavy crimson robes. He bows regally as you approach him.
I am Salabesh, oft called Salabesh the Onyx, future head mage tutor for the Civic Festhall. You've business with me, I take it?
Oft called the Onyx. Why's that?
A long tale, which I'll shorten to save my breath. In my youth, I was once called Salabesh the Golden, for I was said to have a heart of gold, small, hard, and yellow.
Well, I cursed the fool who started that so that he could only speak from his arse and defecate through his mouth. The onyx appellation, along the same lines as the golden, though admittedly somewhat less clever, soon followed. In any case, I'm a much kinder fellow now. Far less prone to laying curses and the like. I'm not certain if I deserve the same name any longer.
I see. Are you the mage that cursed the performer down in the plaza?
Oh, that one. Yes, cursed the thing, and it was well deserving of it. Mocking a passing mage, but now what sort of fool does that? It was asking for it. After all, I am master of curses. Don't worry yourself, though. The curse is harmless. Improves the sorry little act, if anything. It'll be fine.
Master of curses. Do you know of a cursed man called Reekwind?
Reek?
Salabesh's eyebrows suddenly dart up.
Oh, yes. Yes, Reekwind. Jumble Murdersense cursed that man, if I recall correctly. Why? You're seeking to get his curse undone? Good luck. Only Jumble can do that, you know.
Where'd I find this Jumble Murdersense?
Oh, around here for sure. Always likes pestering the fledgling mages. A short, portly fellow with a leering smile. Never speaks, so you'll be hard-pressed to get anything out of him.
I had another question. I'm looking for any information on a night hag, Ravel Puzzlewell. Do you know anything about her?
Puzzlewell? Yes. Well, nothing more than the tales mostly told to scare sensates into proper training. There was a mage here who had been quite keen in his research on her, but was quite balmy and unpredictable.
Thanks. What did you mean by future head mage tutor of the Festhall?
It's a prestigious position to be one of those in charge of tutelage in the Festhall's training wing. It's my intention to take that position from its current owner, the Lady Thorncombe. Rumor is she has become quite addled from overuse of the sensorium stones.
He rubs his hands together, eagerly.
I'll request to be made the new head mage's tutor shortly, when it is appropriate.
Strutting about with an odd, crooked smile, you find this Jumble Murdersense. His orange tunic and rather sizable gut give him the look of a walking pumpkin. He is absent-mindedly patting his large paunch with a slow rhythm, as if it were a drum, and there is a strange gleam in his eyes that makes him look a little uncanny. This is the man who had cursed your storyteller friend in the hive.
Greetings.
The man gives an exaggerated, flourishing bow and presents a small card, which reads only Jumble Murdersense, Chaositect Sorcerer Extraordinaire. He then snatches the card from your grasp and proceeds to eat it, grinning wildly all the while.
Somewhere an asylum is one barmy short.
I had some questions, Jumble. Jumble yawns and looks away, drumming on his belly with the palms of his hands.
Jumble, my questions?
He rolls his eyes, then turns to you and offers his hand to shake. But just as you reach for it, he smirks, then bites his thumb.
Fine. But I'm here to ask you to remove Reekwind's curse. Do you understand?
He pretends not to hear you, instead belching loudly and resuming his belly drumming, his eyes wandering around the hall.
Is there anything I could do so that you'd do this?
Jumble won't look at you, but shakes his head. You stoop down to his height and place your hands upon his shoulders. He hisses like a cat and flicks your hands away before slapping you square on the cheek. Immediately, he disappears in a puff of misty fume, and after a moment, you feel a light tapping on your shoulder. Still crouching, you turn around only to find Jumble standing there, who then proceeds to blow a raspberry in your face. You reach forward and grasp him by his collar, pulling him close.
All right, listen, you little imp. Remove Reekwind's curse before I'm forced to hurt you.
Jumble raises one eyebrow, leans back, and then opens his mouth. And although his lips or throat don't move to shape any words or sound, an abrupt torrent of incomprehensible babbling begins to pour forth.
What the?
Jumble shuts his mouth, and the babbling ceases. He peers at you through narrowed eyes, a self-satisfied smile on his pudgy face. When suddenly, you hiccup. And hiccup. And hiccup. And hiccup again. Jumble Murdersense merely turns his head and waves you away.
Uh-oh. Looks like you just got a curse thrown down on you, Chief.
What have you done to me, Jumble? Jumble ignores you entirely, proceeding to strut about the hall. Oh, gods, what has he done? Again, you find Salabesh the Onyx. He makes a brief but graceful half-bow.
Again, you stand before me. Please, help me.
Help you?
Doubtful.
Well, perhaps I could. What troubles you then? Jumble Murdersense cursed me.
Jumble Murdersense. Oh, that sputtering mooncalf could never best me. Oh, the battles we used to have, though.
Salabesh frowns.
But I'm all past that now. No longer my sort of thing, you see. I really don't know what I could do for you. After all, it's his curse, not the sort of thing you'd find on an item or some such, you know. That you could remove with simple magics. He'll have to remove it willingly.
Well, could you teach me a curse then? That I could use on him?
Well, no, I don't normally do that. I keep my curses to myself, you know. No. I've simply no desire to do.
Perhaps you're just worried that your curses aren't good enough to best him anymore.
You what? Of all the ridiculous...
Now, look here, you knuckle-dragging sack of scars. Salabesh the Onyx is the master of curses, and there is no other. Why, I could give you but a single phrase that would render that nincompoop's cursing wholly impotent.
That's it! You've made me do it!
He then utters a short string of impossible syllables, words of power which you note mentally for later use against Jumble.
There. See what that does to him, and tell me Salabesh the Onyx isn't the master of curses then.
Thanks, Salabesh. I'll do that. Farewell. Back with Jumble, you give him no time to run and throw the curse Salabesh taught you at him. Jumble stares at you with a somewhat skeptical expression as you speak the arcane syllables of Salabesh's curse. After a moment of awkward silence, the Chaositect Mage notes that nothing seems to have happened, and an evil grin spreads across his face. He opens his mouth to retaliate with another curse of his own, only to realize he has no voice. Salabesh's curse has removed Jumble's ability to speak, thereby destroying the Chaositect's ability to curse others. He clutches at his throat, panic welling up in his eyes. Looks like the tables have turned, Jumble. What do you think will happen when anyone you've ever cursed finds out you can't speak or curse anymore? Jumble drops to his knees, a pleading expression on his face. He looks ready to burst into tears. Will you remove the curse you placed on me? And swear never to curse another who didn't mean you harm. Jumble places his hands over his heart and nods vigorously. And take your curse off Reekwind as well? Jumble nods, pouting. Very well. I'll remove it then. Jumble sighs with relief as you remove Salabesh's curse from him. He in turn removes his own, and your hiccups finally stop. He then bows humbly and casts his eyes to the floor before snapping his fingers and disappearing once again. You return to the Sensorium, hoping once again to speak with Lady Thorncombe, and find her back in the warm sandy chamber slumped against the stone plinth, ashen lines of tears and makeup streaking down her face. She squints at you as you approach, as if trying to remember who you were, and suddenly she frowns pointedly.
You... I hope you have not come here in an ill-fated attempt to drag me back to the training chamber, because I most certainly shall not go.
Are you all right? She does not answer, but quietly sobs, smearing the hem of her dress across her running nose.
My lady.
Oh, leave it. I know what you'd say. You cannot stay like this. You're driving yourself to ruin. I am a disgrace to the board of mages. Well, go on, say it.
Why did you become a tutor?
Well, to share it, I suppose.
What do you mean?
I had a wonderful training. My upbringing, my family. I had the finest professors of the art give me lessons, firsthand.
Go on.
You see, so many in Sigil and the Plains are forced into their power through hardship and hurt, triggered into it by trauma no less. I wanted to show that it needn't be so, that one could find power and purpose through practice. But I had lived such a sheltered life. I could not relate to those I would hope to teach. These stones, they show me the plains in ways I could not dream. They show me a life I never had to endure.
Do you think now that one must endure to find strength? To find that power?
No. No, I don't. But I can't bear to not understand those who have. I must experience it in some part, so I can help them. Does that make sense?
It does. I understand, Lady Thorncombe, I do. But you cannot help them from here. And if you stay here, there are others who would take your place, who might not be so supportive.
What? Who?
Well, Salabesh, for one.
Salabesh? That lofty old ghoul. The man couldn't magic his way out of a mildewed sack.
Right. Well, he would certainly be pleased if you were to remain here, so he might take over the tutelage of the less experienced mages.
What? But I...
Yes, Lady Thorncombe?
Asinine! No, wholly asinine! That cannot be so! I won't allow it!
I think the students would be thrilled if you didn't.
Yes. Yes, the students. Oh, I've made such a fool of myself.
No, my lady.
You came here seeking me, no? Before. What was it you sought?
Yes, I did. I'm looking for Ravel Puzzlewell.
Lady Thorncombe's face darkens.
That is not a name I've heard in quite some time.
You know much of her?
Not much, but enough to know that I do not relish in that I have. Whatever people tell you, she is real, and quite wicked. You must speak with Quell, if he still resides here. He is a wizard, and quite well versed in the horrors of that hag.
Quell. Thank you.
No, thank you, Scarred Man. You have been quite helpful.
You aid her in rising to her feet, and with a slightly embarrassed look on her face, she smiles, curtsies, then turns back to the sensory stones once more. She then nods and walks away. Looking down at the jewel before you, the inscription beneath says, "Horrible regret." You stand on the deck of your flagship, the Divine Hammer, as it floats over the continent of Agerheim, held aloft by the winds of magic. The very landscape roils and shudders beneath the bombardment of your fleet. 1,000 ships, cannons, and bombards hurling their sorcerous fire down like vengeful gods. The shockwaves began to hit your ship only minutes ago, a constant vibration that sends shudders through the whole of the ancient craft and moves your very bones, accompanied by a constant, rumbling bass. As the land's mountains begin to sink and the seas that surround it begin to boil off into the atmosphere, your first officer comes to stand beside you.
My Lord Admiral, permission to speak freely, sir.
You nod your acquiescence, your stomach sinking as you guess at his question.
My lord, forgive me, but how? What gives us the right? 1 billion lives.
You speak without turning to him, unable to take your eyes off Rumos, the nation's vast capital city, as it vaporizes into a cloud of superheated gases 12 miles across and growing ever wider.
If you only knew the full treachery of the Aegerites, First Officer Felm, one which is beyond most any man's comprehension, then you would know. You would speak of our right to annihilate them. We've no right to let them live.
But sir, traitors, all of them. Surely among the hundreds of thousands, how many innocent— Silence!
Speak of it no more. Our king has spoken. His will be done. The task set to us is a horrible one, not fit for contemplation or questioning. There is no room for pity, no room for remorse. Only duty.
The two of you stand silently for a time, watching the last minutes of Agerheim. At long last, you sigh, a low, stuttering exhalation that sounds as if something has broken inside you. Beneath the brazen plate that covers the ruined half of your face, your dead eye begins to weep.
Val, my friend, I would have you understand. I know now, as I look down at what I have wrought here, that were I to think upon what I have done, what I have truly done, I would be struck mad. A deed such as this, the anguish would overwhelm, destroy me. So, First Officer Falm, it must be that there are no innocents in Agerheim. No mothers, no children, no people. Only traitors. Vile, cunning traitors, who deserve no less than the full brunt of our most holy king's wrath. Do you understand this?
Yes. Yes, my lord.
Good. Now go. I wish to be alone here.
By your command, Lord Admiral.
Falm bows his head and returns below deck, leaving you to stand over the end of a civilization. Speaking to the doorman Splinter, you learn that the wizard Quell can be found in the Festhall's private sensorium. And in order to have access to there, you must be a member of the Society of Sensation, one of Sigel's most prominent factions. While you may now be sworn to the Godsman, you know from Elwyn that you once had belonged to the Sensates.
We do not recognize you from before today, but nor do we see any lies dripping from your tongue. Very well. We shall grant you access to those privileges allowed only to the members of the Society of Sensation if you can speak to us of any distinct sensations you have gathered recently.
All right.
We would ask for 5 sensations then, each pertaining to one of the body's senses, or a single experience which has strong elements of all 5.
I'd have a single experience to contribute then. I woke up, not knowing where I was, on a cold, blood-slicked iron slab in the bowels of the mortuary. A place where only the dustmen or the corpses in their care have seen. Splinter nods.
Go on.
My entire body reeked of embalming fluid, but even the smell of that was not enough to match the coppery scent of gore around me. Dozens of bodies lie on countless bloody slabs like the one I rose from, all in the process of being gutted, flayed, and the like by nightmarish clockwork devices for reasons unknown. The only sounds were the squeals of labored metal and the unsteady tread of undead workers as they pushed the slabs about the mortuary on rusted iron tracks. He nods again.
A disturbing experience.
And I even left out the part about the chattering skull that flew at me as soon as I was upright. Will it suffice, Splinter?
Yes. We welcome you back, traveler, and grant you access to those privileges allowed only to members of the faction.
A spiral staircase descends like a great vine, unfurling from the canopy above, and with a nod, the doorman bids you step upon it, before it rises, carrying you to the private sensory gardens of the Society of Sensation. Where the public sensorium was a place of peace, set to prepare its guests for the sensations to come, this space is a flood to the senses, drenching you in both sound and scent. It is as if every garden, jungle, and forest in the multiverse bloomed all at once and were layered into this one piece of Sigil. The air is thick with moisture and almost feels charged, as if you were on the brink of thrill or danger, and at any moment the whole place would spring to adventure. Indeed, the first sensory stone that you see displayed before you has inscribed beneath it, "Week-long hunting track across the forests of Arborea." You place your hands upon the stone, and the lushness of greenery seems to envelop you. You are standing in a circle of white tents deep in the woods somewhere. The trees around you are, by far, the largest you've ever seen. Suddenly, though, there's an odd prickling sensation at the back of your skull. Before you can react, your surroundings melt into a colorless smear, then slowly resolve into what looks like the interior of a large gray sphere. Across from you stands a figure almost identical to yourself. His eyes flash in the half-darkness, and a mad smile splits his features.
I knew you would come.
Greetings.
Oh, greetings. Greetings. So good to see you.
He sneers.
I bid your murderous tongue be silent. That's right. Murderous. Your pretend innocence is laughable.
Who are you?
Oh, don't you know? Didn't all those filthy, lying, thrice-be-damned journals tell you who I am? Those journals that are so conveniently left for me when I awoke. Those journals that called me an incarnation. Ha! I burned them all, I did. All that I found.
So, you're one of my earlier incarnations. He crosses his arms and looks away.
If you put stock in such trash, yes.
What did those lying journals say?
They spoke lies. Lies! Lies! And nothing more! Filth
about a man who forgets himself, other incarnations, of preserving their experiences in writing so later lives could benefit. Thieves! It's my life! Mine! You all want to steal my body, and you won't have it! Where am I? Oh, this. Just a little trap, is all. I realize that killing you body thieves might not be enough. I might have to trap you, ensnare you for eternity. You may have realized by now that there's no way out of this sensory stone. Your mind is locked here. You'll note the rather sparse surroundings I've left for you. All to help the madness set in good and quick while your flesh rots away.
The thing is right. You try and release yourself from the experience, but nothing comes of it. Your earlier incarnation doubles over with mocking laughter.
Surrender. You'll never escape. You may as well lay down and wait to fade away to nothing. I am the only one who can release you, and that I will not do. I have some questions for you then.
He crosses his arms and looks away indignantly. Save for a few more tufts of hair on his head, he's identical to you. Even the tattoos mostly match yours.
Was it you who got these tattoos done? No. That one incarnation, that practical one did. I've tried to burn them off, but the skin regenerates with them still on it. I've tried to tear them off, stain them with acid. I hate them.
But why? His eyes flicker uncomfortably.
It is maddening to feel the eyes upon you, reading your body like a book.
His eyes grow wild as you begin to scan over the markings on his chest, as so many have done to you.
Stop that! Just stop reading me!
He tries to cover himself with his arms, turning away from you.
Stop! Stop now! I'm warning you.
Fine. How'd you make this trap?
I can't tell you that. It'll never be replicated. The magics used in its creation were lost, even to me. Clever it is, though. One experience hidden beneath the other, so that no flesh but mine own would set it off.
But if your flesh sets it off, wouldn't that mean I'm you? You've trapped yourself. I've trapped myself. Don't you see?
Well, but that's not... You're one of the... I thought I put in safeguards. How could you... I be so foolish?
He wrings his hands together, biting his lower lip.
How to get out? How? I've forgotten. Wait. I am the only one who can release you, and that will not do. If you are I, then you can release yourself.
With a sudden draw, like some thread pulling on your spine, you are yanked from the sensation and are back in the sensory garden. You okay, Chief?
Yeah. I think I just saw myself.
What, like a reflection? Whoa. Seeing you would scare me.
Yeah. Come on.
After a few minutes of searching and asking around, an attendant leads you to another chamber, much darker than the rest. The walls are thick with twisted thorny briars and grey damp mosses, and there is a rich smell of sage and earthy soil. In the center, this sensory stone is a large green gem labeled as the Messenger. The attendant points out the old man lingering within, who shakes and stutters as he hobbles about in the darkness.
Thank you.
You notice as you approach that he is chewing on something, muttering softly to himself. And after a moment, there is a crack as he crunches down on the object in his mouth, then swallows it. His bushy, brassy white eyebrows furrow for a moment, rise, and then furrow again. Greetings. Without so much as looking at you, the man reaches into his tunic, pulls out a puce-colored ball, regards it curiously for a moment, then pops it into his mouth. Excuse me. The man frowns and waves you away, then nods to himself thoughtfully as he savors the flavor of whatever he's put into his mouth. I need to speak with you. The man smirks, bites his thumb at you, then abruptly pauses. His cheeks swell, and with a violent gag, he spits up a large black fly, which begins to buzz around the chamber.
Oh, Minerosian candies be damned.
He shakes his fist at the insect, then whirls on you.
What?
I want to talk about Ravel Puzzlewell. Before he responds, he pops a small red candy into his mouth.
You always trips about molesting puissant mages with your ignorant prattle, babbling, blathering, chittering, chattering.
Suddenly, the candy shoots from his mouth, flying in a high arc to land on the floor with a wet plip. He stares at it sadly as it gradually sinks into the mulchy floor.
It was so tasty, too.
I'm sorry about your candy. He suddenly looks up, snarling.
Sorry? Oh, as you should be, you piking dung beetle. Mages deserve respect, and bashers like you should know their proper place.
He begins to jump up and down with surprising energy for his venerable appearance.
Proper place! Proper place!
Calm down. I only mean to ask you some questions.
Oh, I cannot, you yeasty, beef-witted pig nut.
His eyes bulge out as he jabs his finger at you.
Now off with you! Off with you! And do not return without being prepared to show the proper respect. Come bearing tribute, a gift.
He suddenly draws close and whispers from the side of his mouth.
Candies or chocolate would be nice, but nothing common, mind you. Bring something exotic. Now, be gone!
With your trip to the sensoriums yielding no further information on the night hag Ravel, you close off this long day and head for the private dormitories, reserved only for honored guests and sensates. While much humbler than other areas of the fest hall, the understated finery of the living quarters brings a welcome sense of calm and comfort. A young woman stands behind a foyer desk and smiles pleasantly as you enter.
Greetings, sir.
She closes her eyes and flips through a large ledger, stopping at what seems to be a random page and opening her eyes once more.
Here's your room key. Your chamber's been waiting quite some time for your return. Welcome back.
Thank you, but what do you mean about waiting for my return? The clerk gives you a strange look.
My ledger indicates that this is your key, sir, and has been for a good long time. If that is not so, then perhaps I'm merely mistaken. Would you like to rest now, sir?
That's okay. I'll see myself to it.
Down the hall and to your right, if you have forgotten.
Thank you. It seems whoever this prior sensate incarnation was had accrued incredible wealth. The room afforded you is practically a palace compared to anything you have yet stayed in. A large multi-roomed suite with a separate parlor and a set of glass doors that lead onto a small patio.
Whoa, Chief. You mean we could have been spending our nights here all along? You've been holding out on us.
Yeah, it seems that way.
What are you supposed to do with all this space? I wouldn't know where I kept anything.
Anna immediately starts rummaging through various desks and drawers, pulling out all manner of scrolls, charms, and trinkets. A well-stocked store for anyone who means to travel across the plains.
Jackpot!
Apparently, she finds a purse of coin under one of the beds. You and your companions spend the next few hours relaxing in and wandering about the dorms, enjoying this rare and unexpected luxury. Your suite is more than comfortable enough, but the common room is filled with fine foods and refreshment, and there is no shortage of engaging company to be found, including one rather terrifying woman who seems to have the unnerving ability to siphon away any desire you might express to her, a feat that leaves Mort feeling both confused and more than a little disturbed. But one thing you have primarily on your mind is going through any and all of your previous incarnation's possessions, particularly searching for any letters or documents. You find little of any interest, and beyond a few magical scrawlings of spells, anything written down appears to be meaningless or trivial. But you do find one thing that draws your attention: a heavy dodecahedron. It is about the size of both your fists balled together and seems inexplicably familiar to you. Its texture is cold and smooth, but whether it's stone or metal, you cannot tell. A certain, almost intangible tension runs over the object, as if it were ready to spring into the air at any moment. You seat yourself within your room to inspect it in privacy, and upon closer examination, you realize that each side of the dodecahedron is a plate that can be twisted clockwise or counterclockwise. It appears to be a puzzle box or combination lock. As each of the pentagonal plates has 5 possible positions, the dodecahedron has no less than 244,140,625 settings. It would take every second of the next 77-odd years to hit all the combinations. But then, you might just get lucky and stumble onto a solution in minutes. As you methodically twist the cold grey facets of the dodecahedron, a strange sensation forms at the base of your skull. Your hands seem to move of their own accord, turning the object and spinning its facets with mechanical precision. You've done this before. You knew the combinations once, and you also become aware that there's a certain danger within the object, though whether it's from simple traps or something less mundane, you cannot tell. In moments, you have what might be the first 4 sides locked into their proper places. As you begin to twist the 5th side of the dodecahedron, you recall a cunning blade trap that would snap out to lash at a meddler's hands, slashing their wrists and severing fingers. You slowly puzzle out the next series of facet positions, avoiding trap after trap, each, you remember, becoming more and more deadly. Eventually, the dodecahedron splits once, twice, and then unfolds itself impossibly into a perfectly rectangular tablet the size of a large book. Etched into its surface are a series of bizarre symbols. It looks to be a code or language that you feel should be familiar to you, but it's not. You realize that this dodecahedron is a tome or journal of some sort. You hear the slightest noise by the entrance, and glancing over your shoulder, you see a slow, gentle swirling in the shadows, something twisting and curling.
Anna?
Your tiefling friend steps out from the darkness.
How'd you tell?
You twitch your tail when you're nervous, or when someone's watching you.
Oh? Watching me? Is that what you were doing?
Just enough to see you lurking in the shadows. It gives you away a lot more than you realize, you know.
One visit to this place and now you're a Festhall teacher?
What? I was just saying that
You're trying to make me look a fool, you are?
It was nothing. I was just trying to help.
Oh, aye? Are you sure that every time I nick something from someone's purse or spring a lock, you aren't just shaking your head behind your back, going, clumsy, stupid girl, she doesn't know how it's done? Does that make you feel better about yourself? Does it?
I don't think you're clumsy, and I don't think you're stupid.
There I was, minding my business, and you come striding into Farrod's court, and him all bowing and curtsying to you, playing the bootlick. And then he orders me to go with you, which he's never done, and you start putting on airs about how you know more than me? And what gives you the right? Who do you think you are?
Anna,
You think of me as some sort of wretch? Would now know where to go without me da? Well, thank you for taking me in. How you must pity me. Oh, well, what would you like me to do now in return? Lick your boots and curtsy like he did?
The hell's you talking about? I don't pity you, and you are nothing like him.
Oh, no. No. Oh, what makes you say that? My hair? My skin? Oh, I can't think of anything else.
I meant he was a greedy, stooped old gutter troll, and in no way resembles you.
Oh, is that so? And how do you see that? Are you serious? Aside from the way you carry yourself, you're confident, sensible, and graceful, and that doesn't even take into account your obvious good looks. Have you ever looked at yourself? You have that rich, fire-red hair, those sharp green eyes, and that striking profile. Anna just stares at you. She doesn't even blink. So what is your problem? I make a simple statement, and you twist it like a dagger. Are you listening to me? Suddenly, Anna leans in and bites you sharply on the neck, giving a soft hiss. Rather than pulling back, she presses closely into you and whispers into your ear. Do you fancy your chances? Her tail begins to lash slowly back and forth, but the rhythm is more hypnotic than angry. You can feel Anna's heart beating fast in her chest and the color rising into her cheeks. And again, for the second time today, you become conscious of the fact that Anna's skin is smooth, soft. I want to tell you something, and you can't poke fun at me. All right. I wasn't lying before. I do like the way you smell. Oh, aye. It drives me barmy than a chaos man, it does. She sniffs up the side of your cheek, and she gives a low, eager hiss. I see the way you look at me, and I like it. You've got hungry eyes, you do. It makes me fire. She teases the side of your neck with her teeth, never breaking skin, and with every whisper, you can feel her breath along your ear. Her hand slides up around the back of your neck and tightens, and you can feel her nails digging into your skin. I want to drag me nails along the back of your neck and force you to kiss me. Do you know I can smell you from 50 paces? The smell of formaldehyde pouring off of you like one of them dusty shamblers. Maybe if you tidied yourself up some, you'd be a right prize. Her eyes flash. I'd make passion with you so hard, you'd be knocked off the spire. She leans back, her tail flicking lightly against your leg, then gives you a hard stare. So, do you fancy me? Without saying anything, you pull her closer and bite her lightly on the neck. As your teeth touch the skin, Anna hisses loudly, clawing like a cat, and tears away from you. I was only teasing you, you scarred vampire. Leave off. Her face is flushed, and she is breathing heavily. And watch your mitts next time. She folds her arms around her. You're making me red, you are. Overstimulated and impassioned by the day's events, you lie alone in this regal bed with the prospect of sleep far from your mind. Who was this incarnation who was held here with such regard? The same who had courted Elwyn, possibly, but can it be him that was waiting within the trap of the sensory stone? Who stole the bust of you from Niall Xander the Dream Builder? Who commissioned it in the first place? Who was it who gave Elebrand's mother the scroll set to harm you? And how does this ravel fall into any of this? You think to turn to the pages of your growing journal, but instead have that slight sensation tugging within your mind. You rise from your bed, making again for the private sensorium. You are back in the bramble-choked chamber, the smell of soil and plant growth rising from the damp mulch beneath. Before you, the sickly green sensory stone is securely fastened to the pedestal it rests upon with creeping vines, almost as if they guard it from being removed or disturbed. The inscription beneath it reads, "The Messenger." As you touch the stone, its green exterior sharpens, clashing, its brightness becoming more than you can bear, so much so you close your eyes to shut it out.
As you close your eyes, you feel the skin along your arms become numb, as if all sensation is being bled from them. Tired. So tired. You try and blink, yet the darkness remains. Your lids feel soft and sluggish, unresponsive. You are sitting on what feels to be a dirt floor, and around you is the smell of coppery blood and herbs. Why are you here? You came here to what? Your memory fails you, but you feel a growing panic beginning to well up within you.
Awake now, are you? Questioning all done.
The voice is an old woman's, thick and scratchy, as if it is trying to force its way past a thick layer of dust. Try as you might, you cannot open your eyes and see the woman, but you can feel a shiver of fear. Something is wrong, terribly wrong. You try to respond, but all you can manage is a ragged croak. You can't feel your tongue. And your eyes. What's wrong with your eyes?
Now, see me you did, spoke you did, and poorly. So, the price have you paid,
The crone sounds amused. Then her tongue drops sharply.
No more questions. Now you will listen, and you will remember my words. For in minding me, you shall live. Nod if you hear me, or another bit shall I take.
You nod.
Remember me, traveler. Remember me to a stone, one of the pretty glimmers in your festive hall. Use it like a cup. Pour what you feel into it. And know this. Remember me to a man who wears a skin of scars and tattoos, who seeks memories but has misplaced them. If smart he is, he will know the knowing of me. Tell him to find me. Or if I am not to be found, tell him to come to the Glimmerstone, and we shall speak, my precious man and I.
The woman pauses, then hisses again.
Not if you hear me, ragged thing.
Every muscle in your body feels numb and rigid, but you force yourself to nod again.
Pretty polite to listen so long. When he comes to the Glimmerstone, tell the man to speak my name, and your pain shall not have been in vain.
The crone's voice trails off as if distracted. You try to speak again, but there is only a sick, gurgling noise. What happened? Who is this person? Why are you? And you begin to feel yourself slip into unconsciousness.
Ravel! Ravel, it is I!
There is silence.
Ravel?
My precious man.
There is the slow shuffling of feet, and you can feel a sharp pinprick in your left eye. You gasp, and suddenly, barely, you can see with your one and only eye. You lie in a grey hut upon a dirty floor, where blood, your bright red blood, has seeped into the surrounding grey dust. Your arms are gone. Your legs have been hacked off at the knees. Yet, you feel numbed, and there is no pain, only fear. There is someone above you, someone looking down on you. As you look up through your bloodied, blurred vision, you see a horrid bluish-gray face grinning with yellow tusks.
Ravel is pleased. Wondering I was if this messenger would make it, for weak he was when his bits were placed on my plate.
She holds up a talon in front of you, and impaled upon the tip of it is an eyeball. The right one.
Yet, to the festive hall he returned, it seems, and our time too together he has shared. And now you have come. Success.
Ravel, I have many questions for you. The crone shakes her head, your blurred vision seeing 3 images at once. Her grayish hair is like brambles drifting down her shoulders.
No. Only time for answers does Ravel have, and she has no time to waste with your guess questions. Know this, and in the knowing grow strong. You must find me, my precious man.
But how? I do not know.
I am beyond knowing in a lady's place. Now, shh. And listen to Ravel, for there is much you must do to find me. 3 things must you do. Find the door, know the key, then unlock the key.
Door?
The door is not a finished thing, at least when I last gazed upon it. But in the passing of time, perhaps now well wrought it is. Go to the place of forges and steel. Perhaps there you will find the door that takes one to me.
What is the key you spoke of?
To know of the key, speak to one of the knowing ones. Many there are in the festive hall, many, yet only one there knows the knowing of what the key is that you need. Loosen his tongue, and many secrets shall spill forth.
When you say unlock the key, what do you mean?
Knowing the key is not enough. So Ravel thinks, knowing it and unlocking it, 2 tasks that must be joined. For at times, a thing knows not its nature. But you are no stranger to that.
Ravel cackles, a long, hideous cry that fills your ears with pain. Ravel, how am I talking to you if this is someone else's experience?
Of stones and experiences and telling will Ravel do, but not the telling of how she speaks to you now. Many are the branchings and twistings of Ravel, and many are her secrets. I need you, and I need you knowing of this. Return to me. I will give what help I can.
Ravel gives a final smile, a horrible yellow-fanged grin. A blackish tongue darts from her lips and lingers at the edge, teasing.
But in the end, only the one question remains.
What do you mean, Ravel?
Only one question. This I ask.
Ravel's eyes blaze like fires, the light of them turning her face blood red.
What can change the nature of a man?
At the question, you feel a tremor pass through like thunder. and you feel yourself burn. Your vision clears until you are standing once again before the hideously green stone. It looks different than before, more horrid somehow. Thank you for listening to Planescape Torment, the unofficial audio series, a RevocerGM production. To support the show and those involved, please consider subscribing to our Patreon or donating via our Ko-fi page. Links to both are in the description.